Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I'm on the west side of Manhattan right now. West Side is famous for a story, if you will. This story actually is a lot older than Leonard Bernstein's musical that made it on Broadway. The story actually goes back to Romeo and Juliet, but it was recast in 1950s West Side Manhattan, close to where I am right now. You might know it because the story starts out with snapping the fingers, and when you're a jet all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day. Yeah, it's the theme song, or the first song I should say, to West Side Story, which is a story about the fighting between two rival gangs, the Jets and the Sharks. And I mentioned that today because I'm going through Lorraine's email, and today Lorraine's email told me to talk about the spiritual warfare that goes on in this life. Now, spiritual warfare is in some ways like the West Side Story, but in other ways not at all. It starts early in the Bible. The very earliest pages talk about the serpent, the deceiver, tempting and deceiving Eve and Adam into disobeying God, into rebelling against God. But the story doesn't end there. As the story of Scripture unfolds, you continue to see this evil presence that is continually trying to destroy the fabric of what God's about and what God's doing. And so you'll read about in Job how Satan wanders to and fro on the planet trying to figure out how to thwart God and his purposes. You'll see the evil and the animosity, the idolatry, the various things that Satan brings upon people in the Old Testament. And it doesn't stop there. The Bible talks about Satan like a roaring lion seeking to devour, or disguising himself as an angel of light to deceive people. Think wolf in sheep's clothing. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, as much as we would like to think that this world is as simple as you and me just going about our day, sometimes things are great, sometimes things aren't, and we just do the best we can. In reality, we're in a war zone. Whether we're on the west side of Manhattan between two rival gangs or not, we're in a war zone. And that war zone is God trying to bring good in this world, while Satan is trying to destroy the good that God brings. And it is something that a lot of people don't like to think about. In fact, there are a lot of people that don't even believe Satan exists, which I think is one of his cleverest lies of all. It's like the spies. You know, if a spy can convince you that there are no spies, then you're not trying to find the spy. It's a very clever ruse. But the bottom line is there is evil. There is destruction. And ultimately, we have a choice where we land on this. We can be on Team God and seek to do good and seek to defeat evil, or we can be on the team that thwarts God's plans. There's not really any middle ground. There's not, it's the kind of thing where if you're not combating evil, you are allowing evil to exist. And so I want to look at today, and I want to look at this world not simply as, I'm just going to go through my day and ignore the idea there may be a war going on, a war for people, a war for compassion, a war for love, a war for culture, a war for so many things that are good. But I'm going to engage in that battle. And I do that by drawing close to God, by seeking His will, and by trying to bring His love, His peace, His patience, His kindness, His goodness and gentleness into this world. It's not simply a matter of a West Side story. It's a worldwide story. And that's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day.